Welcome back to the STEM Career Accelerator. I'm Bobby Sass. And in this lesson, I want to talk about practices that can help us sustain our mindset work. In the previous lesson, we talked about how to use a growth mindset to work on developing our purpose. In this lesson, I want to get a bit more towards the mindset work that you can then integrate with the purpose work that was in the last lesson. Mindset practices are necessary. Mindset is not something that we can just turn on and off. It's something that we need to practice to work towards. Mindset is the result of practice. Some practices are known to help us develop a growth mindset, and the growth mindset is what we want to get into here. We want to be abundance and growth mindset focused. If you put good stuff into your mind, then you can have your desired results. Your desired results are the good stuff that you want to get out of the good stuff that you put into your mind. If you put bad stuff into your mind, then you're going to limit your desired results. So for instance, those limiting beliefs, that's some of the bad stuff that's already in your mind. We don't want to put more of it in there. We want to work to reframe that so that we can have good stuff coming in. And our mind works in symbiosis, in synergy with our body and our spirit. The mind is not isolated on its own, just like the body isn't isolated. The spirit isn't isolated. Mind, body, and spirit are all part of ourselves, of who we are. It's so important to be cautious with certain words. There are some so-called bad words when it comes to mindset work. Can't. I can't do this. I can't do that. This is a limiting word. It relates to limiting beliefs. Should or shouldn't. I should do this. I shouldn't do that. Should and shouldn't. They're not words that we can never use, but we need to be mindful that when we hear ourselves say or think those words, and to say, take a moment. Am I shoulding all over myself? Am I shouldn'ting all over myself? Let's be cautious. Lazy. Oh, lazy. What a terrible word. Sometimes you need rest. Does that make you lazy? Because you're tired and you want to lay down on the couch, or you just want to sit there with your eyes closed for a moment and just breathe? Does that make you lazy? Because it's Saturday morning and you want to lay in bed for another 2 hours instead of getting up and cranking away at whatever you feel like you have to do? Does that make you lazy? But is an indecisive word, and it's a limiting word. I wanted to do this, but here's an excuse of why I didn't. Maybe. Indecisive. Well, maybe I'll do that. Either you're going to do it or you're not going to do it. If you're not going to do it, put it out of your mind and focus on something else. If you're going to do it, commit to it and get it done. Hate. Hate is a nasty thing in life, and it's a nasty word to have in our minds and in our mouths. I hate this. You probably dislike plenty of things, but hating something is a limiting belief. Because when we hate something, it means we can never love it. But when we dislike something, we can find a way around it. We can find a way to work with it. We don't have to love everything. But hating things is too strong. Always and never. Cognitive distortions are usually part and parcel of these words. Something is always this way. Something is never this way. A cognitive distortion of all or nothing means that we are not thinking clearly. We are not focused on the real matter at hand. So be cautious when you hear yourself say or think any of these words. Take a moment and pause and think through the meaning of why you're using it. Think about other words that you could use instead. I can't. Turn it around and say, I get to do this. If you can't do something, think about what you can do and say, I get to do this. That's motivating. I should or shouldn't. I would prefer not to. I would prefer to do this. Lazy. You're tired. You feel unmotivated. At least when you say I feel unmotivated, you identify that I would like to find some motivation. Where can I find some motivation? I really don't believe in failure. I only believe in mistakes. I have made so many mistakes. I hope that all of the mistakes that I have made in jobs and in my career and in my life, that I can use those to help benefit other people. It's a big reason why I became a coach. Because I figured out that failing is not something I've ever done. because I learn from every mistake that I have made and I move on. And I try not to carry those mistakes with me. I carry the lessons that I learned with me. Meditation has a lot of different connotations associated with it. If you have never tried meditation, you may be thinking, oh, wow, this is pretty out there. The reality is that meditation can be as simple as mindfulness. There are many basic types of meditation. You'll need to choose for yourself what works for yourself. Trying many things is part of how you develop a passion for something. I have a passion for meditation. It's something that I have practiced a lot, and I've gotten to the point where I have a passion for it because I see so much purpose in it. It helps me so much in my day and in my goal setting. It is just such a powerful process. I have meditations that I can do in 30 seconds, and they help to shift my mindset. They help to recenter me. They help to motivate and energize me in a very short amount of time. It does take practice. I've put this list together in a way that is a place to start would be mindfulness meditation. And then if you really want to go through and you want to get to the point where you're finding a guru for your meditation, then maybe you want to get into chanting and mantra meditation, or even go to transcendental meditation, which is a specific practice where people are trained in how to teach you how to do transcendental meditation. There's mindfulness, where we just recognize that we have thoughts, we capture those thoughts, we work through those thoughts, we set those thoughts aside to work on later. Progressive relaxation, simply put, you can just sit comfortably in a chair, feet flat on the ground. You work your way either from the top of your head to the bottoms of your feet, or the bottoms of your feet up to the top of your head, and you say, okay, breathe and let my toes relax. And then let the bottoms of my feet settle into the ground and feel heavy. And then let my ankles relax, my calves, my knees, my thighs, my pelvis. Let my buttocks sink into the chair and relax. Let my abdomen relax. Let my spine relax. Let my shoulders relax. Let my arms relax. Let my hands relax. Let my neck relax. Let my head relax. Feel light on the top of my head. That's a progressive relaxation technique. Visualization, movement. There's actually movement-based meditations, such as yoga, for instance. Focused meditations. Oftentimes, the purpose of meditation is to bring our focus into abstraction, where we're not focused on any particular thought or feeling. We are abstracted from thought and feeling. Instead, there are meditations that do focus us in on things. There's loving kindness types of meditation, spiritual, chanting and mantra, transcendental. Getting started with meditation is easier than you might think. And really all you have to do is go to the many free meditation exercise resources out there. There's YouTube, podcasts, and apps, free versions of all of these out there. The way that I got started was each morning would pull up the same 5-minute guided meditation on YouTube, and I would do it for a week. And I went through about 7 of those meditations, so about 7 weeks of that, until I found one that is like my go-to. And I love that particular 5-minute guided morning meditation. If I ever really at any part of my day, not just the morning, if I ever need to get into a more positive space, I'm like, I need to give myself 5 minutes right now. I'm going to pull up this meditation on YouTube, and I just get into it. Wherever I am, I just get into that meditation and I do it. The mind, body, and spirit works together. The body needs food. The body needs to be maintained with fitness. I would ask and suggest that you consider your diet, your exercise, and whether you are doing a practice that integrates diet and exercise and meditation, such as yoga. These 3 are practices that I have in my life. These are 3 practices that I use to maintain my holistic health. A warning, I'm not giving you medical, dietary, or fitness advice. Please consult your healthcare provider before making any changes to your diet and physical activity. The mind, body, and spirit work together. According to WCSU, holistic health is an approach to life that considers multidimensional aspects of wellness. It encourages individuals to recognize the whole person: physical, mental, emotional, social, intellectual, and spiritual. I break this down into a little bit more simple framework, which is mind, body, spirit. Physical is body. Mental is mind. Emotional is mind. Social is body. Intellectual is mind. Spiritual is spirit. These all interact. But there is a wheel of holistic health exercise. And the way that this works is in each of these parts of this pie, you want to look at your life and say, what am I doing good for myself as far as my body, my physical health? What am I doing good for myself as far as my mind and my mental health? What am I doing for myself that's good as far as my spiritual health? And try to write as many things in each of the concentric circles as possible. There are 10 places in these circles. So radiating out from the center, for your body, you might write that I do 15-minute jog in the morning. And then maybe you make sure that you always have a balanced dinner. And then on the outside of the circle are things that you want to improve. Like maybe, for instance, you eat too many sweets while you're sitting at your desk, that you have a drawer full of sweets and you're regularly pulling sweets out from it and eating those sorts of things. Get into the download, and this is in the workbook that was introduced in a previous lesson. If there's anything that I teach you, please ask me about it. But I also encourage you to read up. If mindset work is new to you, please read up on it. Read up on the other practices that I've given you a brief introduction to here. I'm happy to work with you on all of this. Reading up on it is really the best way to get yourself to master the techniques and to find the techniques that work for you. Now, I'm here as a major resource to you, and I will help you work through anything that you need me to help you work with. But I really do encourage you to continue to do reading on your own. Daily journaling is a practice that I didn't get into until a few years ago when I started when I started training to be a professional certified life coach. Daily journaling has absolutely transformed my mental health and my ability to set and achieve goals. So I encourage you to develop a daily practice of journaling. Step 1 is to buy a bound paper journal. Buy a decent journal. Don't just use a spiral notebook. I mean, if it works for you, it works for you. But I really like having a nice bound journal. I like to have something that is portable, but not too small that I have to feel like I have to write in super teeny tiny letters. My journal is about 6 by 8, and I have a fairly thick one. It's about 1.5 inches thick. In this journal, list your specific questions that come up about your career or about your life in these lessons that we're going through, and in the worksheets and homework that you're going to be doing, in reading that you do, in your day-to-day experiences. Write that down into your journal and list your specific concerns about what's going to change in your life and your career, because we want to know what's bothering you and get specific with it. Not just say that I had a bad day or that I'm feeling anxious about this. Get deep into those thoughts and feelings in the journal. And the reason that writing in a paper journal is so important is that the brain works differently when we have a pen or pencil in our hand and we're writing on paper than it does when we're typing on a computer screen. So I don't recommend journaling on the computer. You also have the other benefit of it's a little bit easier to maintain privacy with a journal that you can lock away in a drawer, as opposed to the possibility of cyber intrusion and somebody getting access to your journal if it's stored on your computer. Just something to think about. Write about how you feel about your current work-life balance. Write about what you want out of your work-life balance. Write about what is and isn't working for you. Visualize and envision your dream life. Write down what it looks like. Tell me a story about what you see when you close your eyes and you think about your dream life. This journal is just for you. You do not need to share it with me or with anyone else. I'm happy for you to use this as a resource for yourself and bring to our sessions and to the Q&A whatever you want to bring. You do not ever need to read this journal to me or anyone else. Looking forward to seeing you in the next session.